Hey, what is going on, Capricorns? Betrayal here. I am going to do your October read. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. So since it's October and we're heading into Halloween, I thought I'd bring up my horror oracle deck. For anybody that's watched me for a while knows I'm kind of a horror movie fan. I really enjoy it. So I saw this. Actually, I just got this deck. I saw it the other day, and I just kind of had to have it. So let's pull a card. Give us a card for Capricorns. I didn't like that. We're gonna do one more shuffle. I feel like there was a lot of scattering. Just give us a card for Capricorn. That's better. Earth. This is still new to me, so I think I'm seeing. I'm gonna pronounce it completely wrong. Nosferatu or whatever the heck it is. Yep. Nosferatu. I don't know. I haven't seen the new one. I've seen the old one. Anyway, staying connected to where you come from can offer feelings of safety and comfort when we wander. A tangible element we can carry with us by nourishing and bringing with it centered sense of self as we strike out into unfamiliar environments. Keeping home close to heart insulates us from hostile energies, especially when we are subject to being cast into harsh light. Remember where you come from is the upright of that. Sorry, my reading is horrible. I have no cadence when I read, and I've been aware of that my whole life. But anyway, with all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what message do we have for Capricorns for October 2025? I am trying a new spread, by the way, if you see me moving a little differently. Just trying to switch it up a little bit. So first things first, I feel like we're starting off in a bad place. I mean, we have the Tower and the Ten of Swords, so I feel like things recently fell apart for you. You know, I feel like someone you trusted betrayed you. And I feel like it kind of blew your perspective of that person way out. You know when you have an idea of, you think you know who someone is, and then they screw you over, and then it's like, I don't even know who this person is. That's the energy I'm feeling. Like, now this could be really recent for some of you and less recent for others, but I feel like there's still that kind of energy lingering. You know, you thought you knew who this person is, and all of a sudden they just, the tower, this person betrayed you, the tower comes in, everything falls apart. You know, it's like when you think you can rely on someone and you just realize they're not at all who you thought they were. You know, that's the energy I get from this. And I feel like with that happening, it has you kind of on the defense when it comes to moving forward. You know, kind of makes you feel like you got to second guess everything. You know, sometimes when we make bad decisions or like, I want to make this clear in the beginning. This wasn't a bad decision by you. You know, I feel like they played it well. You know, so we can't take credit for their bullshit. First and foremost, let's just get that out of the way. Don't put too much on yourself. Sometimes people screw us over. And it's not our place to be taking any sense of blame. Now, I'm not saying any of you are taking all the blame or any of the blame. I'm just saying if you are, just remember, when someone else does some bad shit, they're doing bad shit. That's not on you. You know, and I know it feels like you're taking an L right now, you know, from that. And like I said, it's got you feeling defensive with that nine of wands, the 6 of swords, feeling like, you lost something. Now, with all that being said, moving forward, what I see is I see some new energy. And this comes in the form of someone new. You know, this is someone that is looking for something real. You know, is looking for something to build. And with this person, I feel like this is the type of person that is exactly who you needed. Or exactly who you would want to come along in a moment like this. Someone that sees you for who you are. With that Empress, they're just drawn to you. They see you. You know, they see you. And then we have the King of Cups, which is someone emotionally mature. Someone that's ready for a big person relationship. You know, not a lot of people are cut out for it or at that place yet. But like this person, this is someone that's really searching for something real. And I feel like their search has come to an end. I mean, I don't feel like either one of you saw this coming, but you're sure as hell gonna feel it. You know, with the 2 of Swords, not seeing what's right in front of you, but I do see you feeling it. You know, just connecting with this person. And like I said, all the from my experience with Capricorns tend to experience things in a different way. And what I mean by that is they enjoy different things. From a real partner, one of the things that they really enjoy, and correct me if I'm wrong, Capricorns enjoy people they can rely on. You know, if you can be reliable, if you can show up, if you can put in the work, you know, if you're on the same page with a Capricorn, they're all things that are gonna really get you in good with a Capricorn. You know, we have the 8 of Pentacles, this person showing up, putting in the work, not just showing up and declaring what they want or just showing up and expecting what they want. They're showing up and putting in the work to get what they want, what you both want. And like I said, with that Lovers card, it signifies a deep connection. You know, 2 people just done with all the bullshit, done with all the games, done with all that, you know, petty shit. wanting someone they can build with, someone they can, have a future with. And like I said, even though you didn't see it coming, I feel like very early on, there's just something different about this person, and your intuition is going to tell you, this is actually worth your time. This is worth you putting effort in, because like I said, they're already putting effort in. So you're already ahead of the game. This is someone you can build something real with. For some of you, like I said, it's been a long, rough road. For others, it may have been a short, rough road, but either way, whatever the road that got you here is the road that got you here. And that's the perspective we got to look at. Now, one thing is clear with this person too that I really enjoy, and I feel like as a Capricorn you'll enjoy as well, is they're putting in the work. They're not expecting. It's like when you go to work for one day and expect a paycheck. And then you get that paycheck and you don't think about work again. That's one way of working. There's other people out there that go in every day and they put their best. They work their hardest. And, they're not happy with just that paycheck. They want bigger paychecks, more paychecks. They want a consistent stream of paychecks. It always reminded me of like when I worked fast food, one of my first jobs. I remember people would come in and they get paid and you never see them again. Some people work to get something. Young people would come in and they'd work. Like people older than me, actually, I was young at the time. They'd come in and they'd work for a week or 2 weeks, whatever the pay period is, get their paycheck, and you wouldn't see them again. They were just working to get drunk or party on the weekend. You know what I mean? Like they weren't working to build anything. There's different priorities that people have. But one thing's clear with this person, their priority is to build something real. Something built on trust. I mean, I feel like two very like-minded people, and a lot of times we don't see it in the moment. Like we were talking in the beginning of something falling apart, being betrayed by someone. In that moment, we feel betrayed, we feel let down, we feel all these emotions. And then maybe afterwards, for a while, we're defensive. We don't want to let anybody else in because we know what happened last time. Then there's people that come along that they're not necessarily asking to be part of your life. They just somehow become part of it. It's almost like a natural infusion. And that's what I see with this person. I just see this person coming in and like good things just keep happening with this person around you. And we just start to like that shit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we're with people and bad shit just keeps happening, but we keep finding a way out of it and we keep moving forward. That's not what I feel like with this. I feel like this is someone that comes in and shit just keeps getting better. Try another deck. I'm trying to get a little more clarity. I feel like we didn't end it. I'm not getting an ending here. I'm just getting a kind of a to be continued type bullshit. And I don't want to leave you on that. Universe, what else we got here for Capricorns? What else can we see for Capricorns moving forward? Yeah, I mean, I see you getting what you want. I see you. I see this as a connection that you can trust. It's like that old commercial. This is something you can trust this name. I'm sorry. But I mean, I feel like this is something you can trust in. I see you getting what you want with that 10 of Pentacles. I see you getting fulfilled in more ways than one. And with the Knight of Pentacles, I see establishment of trust. Like I said, in the beginning with this connection, I don't feel like we have to put a label on it. We just natural integration. This person just becomes part of your life. And for all the, I mean, like I said, not like anyone you've met before, which is a big check in the plus column. For all the cross watchers, one thing I'll tell you, I'm gonna do a video sometime about all the things, the pros and cons for me, which with each individual sign. One of the biggest pros for Capricorns is I don't know if I've ever met a more loyal person when you're in their circle. When you make it into, most of my Capricorn friends don't have a lot of friends like in their close circle. And the people that are in their close circle, they earn their shit. They earn their way in there. They earn the key. And once you earn a key from a Capricorn, a key to the circle, I mean, they may be one of the most loyal signs. And like I said, from the Capricorn friends that I have, generally they don't have a lot of people in their close circle. They may have lots of friends. I'm not saying they don't have friends. I'm just saying they don't have a lot of people in their close circle, because it's a very prestigious club. So if you're lucky enough to get in there, appreciate it. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. With this read, I mean, we have Gemini, we have Libra, we have some. I am getting some Taurus, some Virgo, some Capricorn, some Cancer, Scorpio, also Sagittarius. Yeah, I've been talking about this for a while, about doing a video of my pros and cons, or my list of things that I like and dislike about each sign. Now, again, it's my opinion. Some other people's opinions vary. But anyway, enough of that. Look for it coming up soon. I really like these horror cards. I mean, they're a little bit different. I just feel like sometimes in life, it happens to everyone. We get in a relationship when we invest in it heavily, and it doesn't work out. And I've been down that road before too, where I blame myself, but when someone screws you over, that's all them. That's all them. You're only doing them a favor by taking some of the blame. Some people lie, cheat, steal, and some people are good at it. They're good at it. So when we get fooled by those people, we can't take it to heart because they're good at it. I remember years ago, excuse me, years ago, I was young. I was working out in Alberta. I was making money hand over fist. Like, I was making more money than I ever made in my life. And I got into some stupid situations because I mishandled my money. I learned very quickly, and I didn't mishandle much more after that. But one of the biggest things that I did was I went into a dealership, and this car, I always drove by this car, and it was a beautiful car, and I always wanted it. And I walked into the dealership, and I should have told them I wanted that car. First mistake. I invested it. I overplayed my hand. So they got me good. You know, they charged me way more than I should have been charged for that car. But she was very good. You know, the woman that sold it to me, she was like, me and Rose. We had a kid, our oldest son, um, and she played out the safety of the vehicle. She played all these things, all these parts. You know what I mean? Like, and she really. I was already convinced of buying it. She convinced me to buy it without asking any real questions. And when I bought it, it wasn't long after I realized I got screwed over. I'm not saying the car was, it was a great car. It was a good car. I mean, it was what it was. But I highly overpaid for it. And on top of that, I could have got it for less, and I could have got better options. You know, preferably the car that I wanted. The interior wasn't the color I wanted. I'm not just going to get right into it, but I'm just saying there's some things that I was in a position of power when I walked in there. I had money, and I didn't play my hand. She played her hand quite well. And like I said, I ended up getting kind of a shitty deal, which I could have remedied, but I doubled down. You know, I made it see. Even now sometimes I feel myself talking myself out of the fact that it was a bad deal. You know, because sometimes when we get screwed, we don't want to admit it. Anyway, I don't know where that all came from, but like I said, but we learn. We learn. Be good. Take care. Stay safe.